Promised, here comes a free form refactoring for you. So basically the idea is that this is a lot of code. Honestly, this might be the best thing. I'm a pretty big fan of not refactoring too early, especially if you don't have, duplication spewing throughout your application. But let's just say that you do have 3 or 4 data tables inside of your app, and you're repeating yourself all over the place with all of these things like sorting and whatever, things like that. So you could actually create abstractions on both the front end and the back end. You could do some things in the front end to make a table to basically hide all the checkbox stuff and the selecting stuff in a table, or the sorting stuff. You could do all that. But I think I'm pretty happy with what we have as far as the layout here. I mean, the bulk of this is from the bulk of this is the tables. But the advanced search takes up a pretty big chunk, and the modals take up a pretty big chunk. So it's really not all that bad. This is the filtering up top and the options, and then this is the advanced search, and then this is the table, which is pretty big, of course. And then this is all the other stuff. So whatever, it is a lot, but and you can make abstractions as you please. You could very easily put these into includes if you wanted to, include top section, include advanced filters, advanced search, include table. You could do all that. I'm not going to do that because I don't feel like I need to. Maybe it would be nice to do something basic like this. Maybe we should just give these titles. So this is going to be, what is this? Top bar, I guess. And this is advanced search. I find this helpful sometimes to just have titles above, big sections of a page. And then this is going to be the table. We can even call it transactions table. And then let's see, this is going to be, this will be delete transactions modal. Yeah. And then this is going to be save transaction modal. Okay. So that's pretty good. I'm not scared of what we have right there. But how can we clean up this backend? So let's say that you have a bunch of data tables inside of your app and you want to make certain things generic. So the first thing that jumps out at me is the sorting. So let's create a new trait called with sorting. So it's like a dashboard table with pagination and with sorting. And let's add a class right inside the Livewire thing right here, I think. So, or actually, let's create a new folder called concerns. Or should we call it data tables? Like this? Yeah, data tables with data. Let's do this. Let's do data table. And then inside of here, we're going to say with sorting.php. And then this is going to be a trait. So in the namespace of app, HTTP, Livewire. Don't you wish I had something to automatically do this? I think I do actually. I just always forget how to use it. And then trait is going to be with sorting. And then the other ones, we'll just copy this so you don't have to watch me struggle through that again. With sorting, okay. And now let's open these up side by side. With sorting. Okay, so the first two things we have here are these pieces of data. So we can pop these in a trait here. We'll want to import with sorting. Okay, and then we have some methods. Where do we have sorting stuff? We have sort by. Is that it? That might be it. That's pretty simple. This one's going to be an easy win, folks. Yeah, sort direction, sort field. That's an easy win, I'm pretty sure. And then I suppose that this order by has something to do with the sorting, and I wonder if there's something we should do. Like, what if we did this? Like, and then we left this off. And we did like this arrow, apply sorting, and we pass in a query. Is that crazy? Are we being crazy, people? Apply sorting, and then this we could put in here. So apply sorting, accepts a query, and returns that query, but ordered by the sort field and direction. I don't think that's too bad. I really don't. So the idea being that all the sorting concerns we're extracting into this trait, so that in the future, I guess you still need to apply the query to it, but I don't know, at least we have a pattern for letting a trait do something to a query. So I think that's pretty good right now. Let's keep going. And again, this is freeform. And maybe think of it like this. Maybe what we should do is I'm going to make small refactors incrementally. And by the end of this, we might get to an extreme place that I wouldn't realistically do in an application. But it's like the most reusable place. And then you decide anywhere in the middle that you want to land with your own application. And hopefully you kind of view or are exposed to some different abstractions that you can make. So with sorting, let's create a new one. Let's see what we have. We have modal stuff, and I think this is pretty specific to each one. So I think this is good to just kind of leave here. There's filtering, which again, that's pretty specific. You might be able to pull some of this out into something else, but I feel like you don't even really want to. Like you could make it generic, but I don't know. You'd end up basically making your own little configuration, and I think this is probably fine. I should also say that it's okay to make one-off traits just for this thing itself. Like if you wanted to create a transactions folder and have all these traits like with sorting, with filtering, and you could put all of these things inside of those traits, and that would be totally fine. But I'm okay with the root namespace. Let's keep going though. So there's selection. That seems like one that we could realistically extract. So why don't we do that? So we have with sorting, and let's duplicate this. And this is going to be with bulk actions, with select, with check boxes, with selecting, with bulk select. What do we want to do? With bulk actions? Yeah, that's what we want to do. With bulk actions, okay? So we have with bulk actions, and we'll name this, where are we? Which one are we on? If we delete these and then do with bulk actions, this is the one, okay. So that's with bulk actions. Let's delete everything here. And here we go. So the first thing, we're gonna have select page, select all, and selected. That's gonna go in here, okay. That's pretty good. I like that. Oh, also, this is a concern of sorting, so maybe we want to pull that into the with sorting. We'll try that in a second. Update filters. No, that's a filter thing. Update selected page, select all. These are all things that we could pull into here. Okay, so we can easily do this. So here we've encountered a problem. You can throw stuff in traits all day. That's fine. But here's a problem. Problem is we're referencing transactions. So we can't use this in any other data table that isn't named transactions, that doesn't have something called transactions. So really we want to genericize rows and row query, which is this, we're getting to that level where I would really question myself, but we're going to do it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say get rows query and get rows property. And so this is going to be rows query, and this is going to be rows. So we don't have to change anything in the blade view, which is nice. And now this is generic to rows. So here we can say rows, pluck ID, map to string. And there we go. We've made that generic. Now any place that we say arrow transactions in here, we're going to have to update. So inside of render, this is going to have to say rows. Okay. And then let's see where else do we use that. Transactions. All right, so we have transactions query, which is now going to be rows query. Okay. And let's see if this works. Property select all does not exist on the dashboard component because we didn't add it with bulk actions. Okay. And then that is unacceptable. Whoa. Okay. All right. And I think we're working. We have sorting and we have our bulk selecting. So all that stuff is still working. I think we can do even better than this. So for starters, here's we're doing this clone rows query. And I think what we want to do is create a new accessor, like get selected rows query, which is basically just going to do this. Okay. And how's that? Rows query. Yep. Get select rows query. Okay. I think that's good. And then now we can say this arrow selected rows query. Okay. And then paste that right there. Bring that in line, get rid of the clone. Selected rows query. Okay. So that cleans that up a little bit, and I think we're doing pretty well. Here's one. We have this arrow selected equals, and then rows pluck ID. So what do we want to do with this? Rows pluck ID. This is like we almost want this to be paginated, called paginated rows, you know? But maybe, what do we do? Select all. Like this, I kind of want to isolate this pluck into here, you know, because we're reusing it in here. Update selected page. So let's just name a method and see where it takes us. Get selected, get page, get row IDs on page. Is that right? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we just have a method called select page. Yeah, like select current page. Select page rows. Maybe. Yeah, okay. And then this is going to be this whole little chunk here. Okay. Yeah. Select page rows. And then, what did I just do? Where did this come from? I'm going cross-eyed, guys. Select page rows. You saw wherever I went wrong, but whatever. So then now we can say this arrow select page rows. Okay. And then wherever else we use this, which I thought we used it somewhere else. I'm losing my mind. Let's refresh. Okay. Whatever. I swear we use this in more places. We have it here, and then what happens when we select page? Oh my gosh. I knew there was something up. Right? Update selected. Oh my gosh. Okay. You saw this the whole time. It's right here. This arrow select page rows. Select page rows. Select page rows. This selected equals, right? That's what we want. That's what we want. You know what? I'm going to call it select page. I'm sorry for flip-flopping on you. Yep. And then here, we can clean this up and turn this into a one-liner. And okay, we're very close to getting all select things out of here. Let's see where select is. It's only in these, like export selected, delete selected, and then, yeah, and then render. So this is the only place I feel a little bit lame about, because these are functionality, bespoke functionality for each. You could even put this in here if you wanted. Yeah, you totally could. Well, you know, I don't know. I feel like this better belongs here. But this you'd have to add on every single component. So I actually added something here. We're at Livewire like 404 class. Okay. There's a thing in Livewire when you have this is just like in an eloquent model, where if you add a trait to an eloquent model, you can add a method called initialize and then the name of that trait. So like initialize bulk actions. It's your way of kind of because you can't add a constructor to a trait, because you would override the constructor of the class. So you can initialize this trait, and then from this initialized trait, we can take this. Can you do this? Nope, can't do that. From this initialized trait, what am I about to do? No. You can do whatever you want. And I actually added a lifecycle hook where you can say before render and then specify a function. And then you can actually run code from a trait before the render. So this is deep Livewire stuff. I'm sorry that you had to see this. But I wonder if with pagination, does that, initialize with pagination. So this is a doable pattern. This is, but I'm combining two new things here that this one's definitely undocumented because I added it for this course because it needs to be done. It needs to be had. Okay, because traits are super powerful, but they need to be able to do the things they need to be able to do. So let's make sure that that works. So we can test that by selecting. All right, so we have some failure going on. Update select page, and then, we can't name this select page because that's a piece of data called select page. So we have to go back to select page rows. Whoops. So select page. Okay. Select all. Didn't work. Why didn't it work? Because we listened for updated select page. Yep. And if it's true, we called select page rows and we got the rows, plucked the IDs, set it to selected. I don't understand why it wouldn't work. Maybe we should check our console, make sure we're good. We are good. I'm going to try it again. I click, it doesn't work. Does clicking one-offs work? It does. If I click them all, does that work? Okay, that works. But for some reason, so hitting select all works. Don't know why. Because updated select page. Update select page, this arrow selected is equal to value select page rows, which then we call, because it's a public function. I'm not returning. I see. This is interesting. Where are we calling select page rows? So this is expecting to return, it's setting selected to null. What do we want to do here? I think we want to say if value, then this arrow select page rows, okay? And then otherwise, we could return here. We could return it just so that it's still a one-liner. And then here we can say this selected equals an empty array, okay? That's going to solve our problems. So we click all those, and then we go to page 2, nothing is selected. Let's try that again. We click all, we select all, and now we go to page 3, and they are still selected. And that is a passing test, in my opinion. Okay, so that was a bit of a bear, but that was that was real school in how to reuse traits in Livewire components. So that's bulk actions. We've managed to clean this up a bit. You could extract filters out, but there's no way of really making that reusable. So if you want to extract it out, go for it. But you're probably not gonna be able to reuse it very well. And query string, so putting this in sortable could work, but then you would lose the ability to put it inside of here if you wanted to put something else like, I don't know. But so let's take a look at actually with pagination and see how pagination does it. It overrides get query string and it merges in the query string property. That's low get or with pagination, but whatever. I guess we'll just leave the query stringing up to the class itself, which I think is reasonable because you don't always want to specify, what's in the query string from something like that. Maybe you extend with pagination and you have your own with pagination that has the query stringing in it, and it also has that's an updated filters. Okay, well, you know what? I don't think there's a ton more here to do. I think this is actually pretty good. I'm happy with it. This is the only kind of beast, and so feel free to pull that out into a separate filters thing. But folks, I'm happy with the reusability that we have. I think these were just the few little niceties that I would want to make if I had multiple data tables so that I could extract things. But thank you for joining me on this journey. This has been insane, and these videos are so freaking long, but I hope you've really gleaned a bunch from it, because there's a ton of deep content here that I think is valuable and worthwhile. So I hope you feel the same way. I asked in one of the early videos, like, if you're watching this and I was like fixing bugs on the fly, I was like, if you like this format of me being informal, shout me out on Twitter and tell me. And a lot of people have, and they still do. So maybe I'll up that ante and say, if you'd like this format of really deep content where we're, and even this format of like free form, it's almost like we're pair programming, but I'm recording it. If you like that, if this is beneficial to you, if you're learning a lot, tweet at me and let me know. If you're not learning a lot and you feel like it's a huge waste of your time and these videos are super bloated and I should practice 20 times before I record them, DM me so that everybody doesn't see it and yell at me there. So thanks for following along on the data tables episode. I'm pumped to have more content in Surge. I'm pumped of the future of Livewire and Alpine. Thank you. I will talk to you in the future.